We are rolling.
Good morning. Welcome back to the conversation. This is Midlife Crisis Activities. This is our lifestyles and pop culture webcast, our daily shout out to the world. I'm your host, Patrick Russell. And over there is my very vivacious producer, Veronica. Together we're here to lend our voices to the noise from a multi-generational perspective to help explain everything that's right and wrong in this world. Happy Hump Wednesday to you, Veronica.
Happy Wednesday.
You know, we're trying to keep these topics light so that we don't have to prepare so much for these shows. And I think we have a nice topic that a lot of couples will get into. Is it better to commute to work for your marriage, right? And it's a general question because you and I now have done it both ways now for a couple of months each time, right?
Yeah.
We've worked together. We've tried to have separate offices and separate sides of the house, but the reality is that you're still going to hear the other person's voice, right? And so, you know, there's a few pros and cons to working together, especially if you're working in the same business together. I think that that's actually kind of a unique circumstance too. And the reason why is because, you know, one of the first pros I think anybody would acknowledge is that you save a lot of time, energy, and money off of a commute, you know, just rolling out of bed, grabbing a cup of coffee and walking to your office is sure a whole lot better and a whole lot time saver and money saver than driving back and forth between 30 and 40 minutes back and forth. That's what our commute is between here and our office in Mesa. And so you have that. But then the con is that you have to hear your beautiful spouse's voice answer the same question about 20 times a day, I would say. And, you know, even with the closed doors and the walls separating you, it doesn't always quite work. Because even if I hear just the third word of what you're saying, my mind can fill in the blanks, and it brings me back to the conversation that, once again, I've heard and I've had, you know, over 1,000 times now. It's just part of the business. I'm not complaining.
You're not complaining, right?
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying helping people is what we do. But, you know, when you hear it as an echo, I think is what's happening too. You get reverberated, not just your own voice, but you're actually hearing other people's voices. And sometimes after a few hours, that could definitely be distracting. And so you have that pro, and then you have that con. The other pro is that less distractions, including the refrigerator and the kitchen.
For you,
right?
for some people. For some
snacking.
people.
Going to work for me definitely has been able to kind of regulate my ability to just walk into the pantry and, as you say, grab an Oreo here or grab a chip here. Or even when I'm being somewhat healthy and making myself a fruit shake, that's still just calories that I would otherwise really just don't need, right? And I can regulate that better when I go back and forth from the office, right? Now, the con is that you do a lot more kitchen cleaning when you do stay here, right? I mean, if you do stay in, you know, you do eat a lot less out, and so you save a lot of money from going out. No more impulsive stops to Chipotle or Chick-fil-A or Five Guys, right? So we're eating more, and so once again, we're saving more money and saving some energy. Well, I don't know if you're saving so much energy. So when you have to clean, we run that dishwasher about as often as we run our washing machine for our clothes, right? It's a nonstop operation, especially when we were really working out of the house almost full time. So. And then, well, the last pro would be you have a chance to miss your spouse, right? There's this romantic element that we want to bring into the conversation about, well, now you don't see them 24/7. Now you actually have a separate life for a couple of hours that you can then come back and share something unique and different in your experience in life that was interesting that happened in your day. And the other spouse has, you know, the ability to do the same thing, right? You're not constantly in each other's ear. And so that's can sometimes be nice, right? A little variety. The con in that, though, is that the texting has to start up again, especially if you're out of network for an hour or two. And spouses, you probably know what I'm talking about because you might start getting some random texts like, hey, my computer's acting really weird. Give me a call back, right? I mean, when you get those kind of weird, I'm like, well, just restart the computer because what am I going to do for you on the road? But you know, okay, maybe it's time to check in just to let them know that I'm thinking about her too. So from a younger generation's perspective and from a female's perspective, I've kind of laid out what I thought the pros and the cons of the working relationship in and out of the house are. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I before, probably last year, I thought that you and I were unique, like in a unique situation where, working together, same business, and then having to adjust to all these things, right? But it's not actually.
No.
So I have,
especially after COVID-19, the
Yeah.
pandemic, a lot of spouses are now working together, at least out of the house.
well, especially homeowners. I mean, not homeowners, business owners. So I have a lot of clients that own businesses, and they had to implement the wife or the husband, vice versa, because obviously it's cheaper too.
Very true.
So
And they'll take better care of the business interest, right?
Yeah, I mean,
they have
that's-
a stake in it. Yeah,
That's usually how it works. But I don't think you and I are in a unique situation. I mean, it's so now I think it's better just for us to give each other our time, because I know
Space.
space, right? Before, and it doesn't even bother me, to be honest. Like, to me, it's I mean, it's part of the business. I guess it doesn't, I don't take it as, I want to be next to you or just go to the office. Like, I go to work and I do my thing and I don't think about anything else. So I know for you, because you have never experienced working with your wife before, before we got married, I know it's kind of different and I guess unique, but I mean, I don't know, it doesn't bother me. But now I do feel like if you give me the choice between staying home for you and then, or maybe vice versa, I'll prefer to kind of give some space and then come back and then be like, hey, even though we Zoom all the time and I can see Patrick on the other side.
That was my next and final question. Does it help at all that you get to Zoom with me pretty much wherever I am anyway, from the office or from the house? I mean, we're always logging into the team Zoom every day anyway, so it's not like we're not seeing each other. It's just like you said, the space and the time
I mean,
between us.
I think it's different though, because you're not here, so you can always like mute yourself, or like you can just like go and then come back on the Zoom meeting. So I don't think it's the same. I think it's helping. But also another point that I wanted to kind of mention is, it is stressful to work with your husband or your wife, especially on the same business. Like if I had my own business, completely different of like not taxes, and Patrick had, the business of taxes, I think it wouldn't be too bad, because right now what happened is like we know our clients, so something happens and then it's like, okay, what's happening, and then we feel it. So I think that's the main problem. I don't know how you feel. Like if I had my own business completely different, do you think it will be the same? Because I will be talking about something else. I'll be talking about
and I wouldn't be
things.
Emotionally triggered by what's happening with your business, and vice versa. If something was triggering me, it wouldn't be offsetting to you, because you would have your own business and your own concerns, and you wouldn't be so vested in what's happening in my business. But because we're both in the same business and because we get triggered at the same time, it does elevate the tension maybe and the pressure in the workplace. And so having that space actually helps. Well, there you go.
I think that's the main thing. And then also, you're not the only one. You and I are not the only ones that we fight over things. I mean, I have a lot of clients.
It's very good to know that there's more clowns at the circus. Guys, there's no right answer, there's no wrong answer, but there definitely is your opinion. Please don't just subscribe to this channel, even though we will be doing this back and forth on the daily basis. But lend your voice to the show. It'll make it a whole lot more fun. Guys, remember, it doesn't matter what comes your way today. It doesn't matter what challenges or obstacles that you may face. You just need to remember one thing.
Give him hell.
Happy Hump Wednesday, everybody.